few years ago, I had the opportunity to get a decal, a sticker, to put on the back window of my car. And it's the cross of St. Lawrence, or the deacon's cross. It's the symbol of the diaconate. And one day I had a friend riding with me, and he said to me, he says, you know, if I was you, he said, I wouldn't have put that on my car. You know, that question always gets me, because if he was me, he would do exactly what I did, right? But anyway, I said, so I looked at him and said, why is that? He said, well, you know, he said, if you pull out in front of someone or, you know, whatever, he said, they're going to know that it's a deacon doing that. And so he said, that's easy. In my old car, I said, my car didn't have enough power. I didn't pull out in front of people. I said, so it kind of helps me to temper my driving, right? I don't do those kind of things. Well, a couple of months ago, I traded in that car and I got a new one. Well, this new one can do those type of things, but I just don't do it. Because I know what it feels like when people pull out in front of me. And I always pray for those people when they do that. That's not true, but anyway. But, you know, we have to learn how to temper our anger, right? Especially in those cases. We need to learn that, you know, maybe it's whatever happened, and it's not intentional. So maybe we need to learn how to pray for those type of people. But today, as Catholic Christians, we have to understand that there is two types of sin that follow most of us, or two types of sin that most of us deal with on a regular basis, and that's anger and lust. And Jesus tells us in the gospel today that, you know, he says that, you know, I haven't killed anybody today, but if I am angry with someone, I am liable to judgment. Right? He's saying, don't be angry. If we have a grievance with someone, we need to settle that grievance. We don't need to hold on to anger. And I always said that, you know, if you hold a grudge, you have to do all the work. Right? We have to carry that grudge. But Jesus is telling us that anger is from Satan. Anger it destroys us from the inside coming out. And he says we need to eliminate that anger. We need to learn how not to get angry. Or if something happens through human nature, we need to be able to settle that account and do away with that anger. Now, I'm not a betting man, but I would care to bet that most people thought when we talk about lust, think about sexual lust. But there is more than that, right? There is a lust for power. There's lust for money. There's a lust for life. And some people say that last one's not a bad thing. But if that lust for life gives us a fear of death, then it's not a good thing. You know, if we all believe that when we die to this life and we leave this earth, that we are going to a better place, then why are we afraid of dying? You see, that fear of death is Satan's way of making us a slave to this earth. Because if we fear dying, if we fear that paradise that waits for us, we can never truly let go of that lust. We can never truly allow Jesus to come into our hearts and to take over because we hold on to some of those things. And there's a story I heard, and I think it's C.S. Lewis that wrote this in The Great Divorce. And he talks about this guy who had the demon lust that used to sit on his shoulder. And he prayed, and because this demon would make him do all kind of things. And he prayed to God. He says, God, please, you have to help me. I can't deal with this anymore. And God sends an angel. And the angel says, God has heard your prayers, and he sent me to help you. And the guy says, oh, thank you so much. He says, you know, because this is just tormenting me. And the angel looks at him and he says, can I kill it? And he says, well, you know, killing it's kind of a bad thing. He says, you know, maybe if you could just remove the chains that he has around my neck and, you know, maybe just kind of teach him a little bit of a lesson type of thing. You know, he said, killing it, gosh, you know. And the angel says, can I kill it? He said, well, maybe not kill it, but just kind of beat it up real bad or something. You know, he says, I don't know if I really want you to kill it. And he says, can I kill it? And the guy pauses and he says, yes. So the angel reaches up and he grabs this demon and he crushes it in his hands. And when he opens up his hands, this beautiful white stallion appears. And the man climbs on the stallion and rides off into heaven. What is it in our lives that we fear heaven for? What is it in our lives that prevents us from surrendering those things that interfere with our relationship with Christ? What is it that we hold on to? Because face it, there has to be some pleasure in sin or we wouldn't want to do them at all. What is it that God is asking us to surrender today? There's a phrase that I always love since I heard it, and it says, just when I think I've surrendered everything, He asks me for something I'm not ready to give up. What is Jesus Christ asking us for today? What is it in our lives that He is asking us to surrender to Him today so that He can be a little bit closer to us? You see, each and every morning when we wake up, we need to be able to count our blessings and not look at the things not look at the roadblocks that we have. Every morning when we get up, we need to say how grateful we are for the things that we have and not look at the things that we don't have. That's that lust that's taking over. If we can surrender those things and start to pay attention to how God is working in our lives, we can feel that freedom from sin, that freedom from all of the anxieties of this world, because we focus on the next, because we focus on the blessings. You see, when God asked us to surrender something, it's only us, ourselves, that can answer that question. So what is He asking you to surrender today? What is He asking you to surrender for tomorrow? What is Jesus Christ asking you to give up?